Tom Rivers live in London. Good morning with ABC News. Tom, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, good morning. I just caught a little bit of that. In those outlying areas, it is the equivalent of the Rust Belt. And this was very much a rejection of the of status quo. They're fed up to their eye teeth and seeing, 7, 8 years of austerity. And they're saying it doesn't work. And the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. Let's go throw our hand in the middle and get a new hand. So that's what they've done. It is scary because if you're in the club, you know what to expect. Now the country's going to have to go out on its own and cut its own deals. And it's like being kicked out of the nest. We'll see how they fare a few years down the road.
All right, Tom Rivers. A lot of this has been couched as an immigration issue. Explain that.
Yeah, two main issues. One, economics. Either side can say, we're better. But immigration, very, very emotive. And, of course, comes on the heels of over 1 million people working their way through the European corridor over the past year, most of them showing up in Germany. But with the EU, it's borderless, at least in the Schengen area, and you can go all over the place. And Brits are saying we are an island. We're an island nation. We can only take in so many people. And the population's been jumping of late up to 65 million here, and they're saying no more. There's jobs. There's public facilities, et cetera, hospitals, et cetera, et cetera. We can't pay for everybody on the planet to come here. So that argument with the Leave campaign really resonated with a whole lot of folk here.
So the fact that they're going to leave the union, and a lot of us know just enough to be dangerous on this here in St. Louis because we don't necessarily follow British politics very closely. But from what I understand, there are certain trade agreements. There are certain financial considerations that are sort of makes a free flow of information and jobs and travel. How much of that will change now that England is not part of that consortium, for lack of a better word?
Everything changes. It's almost like having you're handed a brand new laptop and said, guess what? The world is your oyster. Go write your own ticket now. And you literally have to do that. What kind of, education, kids going from country to country and studying, that has to be nailed down and reviewed. All kinds of things, trade barriers have to be, written around. So, yes, anything and everything has to be rewritten. And if you get it right and you get the right people doing it, that is great. But if you don't, you're in a heap of trouble.
One of the most interesting things that David Cameron has now stepped down, but the former mayor of London, also in his same party, he was for it and David Cameron was against it. Explain that.
Both of them went to Eton, one of the richest schools in the country here. And at that time, going back years ago, Boris was kind of the top kid in the class. David Cameron was down a few ranks. Some personal stuff in Boris's life, he kind of got sidelined. But David then came to the fore, became prime minister. We could well see next October Boris taking over from David as leader of the Conservative Party and as British prime minister. A real change of fortunes. But you're absolutely right. Two individuals, two powerful guys in the same party, polar opposites in their arguments to stay or to leave, and what a change of fortunes.
Okay,
fascinating to see it unfold.
Yeah, Tom. Also, they're also saying it's going to take 2 years to get out because they have to now negotiate everything, right? They have to negotiate every single thing in society with the rest of the union.
Yeah, everything. So, for the next 2 years, everything is going to be, you got the old rules, so you're going to play by the old rules, so that's how it works. But then, it's like, what do you do? Your British passport is really a European Union passport now. So they got to rechange that. They're going to have to change everything. Are you going to have visas put up again travel throughout Europe? We're going back to those days of, say, 20, 30 years ago. So everything changes, and all kinds of subsidies for airlines, et cetera, et cetera. Will it become more expensive to travel through London? All of those things have to be worked out, and it's a myriad of problems.
We should also say that the European Union, 40-something years ago, England joined? Is that right? Back in the early 70s?
Yeah, they had a referendum in 75. They joined in 73. Different club then. They were the 12th member of that club, and it was much more a smaller subset of issues to deal with, mostly just trade and that sort of thing, agricultural policy. But it's grown like Topsy over the years. And that's part of the problem. They say it's so bureaucratic now, and the Leave campaign had a very effective argument. They said each and every week, like clockwork, 350 million pounds from London, from taxpayers, goes to Brussels, and they say they do whatever they want with it. We have no control over what happens. And that's an argument that a lot of people said, hey, that's not right. We can use that money for hospitals, for bridges, for schools, for fill in the blank, stuff staying at home.
Interesting world. Tom Rivers trying to read the tea leaves for us. Tom, great job. Thanks for checking in.
Take care.
Tom Rivers live in London, 6:50.